It's January and this is the Library Roadshow. On the show today, it's all about people, from famous Baton Rougeans to biographies of the world. Welcome to the January edition of the Library Roadshow. I'm Mary Stein, and this is a production of your East Baton Rouge Parish Library System. Red Stick Revelry is over, and we're ready to start off the new year with a bang. We're focusing a lot on training and personal development in library programs throughout the system, but we've also brought back such highly popular and fun programs as Tunes at Noon and Coloring for Adults. Everyone thinks of storytelling when they think of library programming, but each year the library offers thousands of free workshops, lectures, performances, book clubs, and events for all ages and interests. Some are geared to specific groups, such as the 20-somethings, while others focus and cross on all generations. The library's newsletter does its very best to mention them all each month, and you can see the most recent issue on the library's homepage at ebrpl.com. Or if you'd like, we'll email it to you so you won't miss a thing. If you'd like to get on that email list, just send a request to pr@ebrpl.com.
Free access to books, audio, and library resources are just a few of the benefits available to you when you get a library card. Need free access to a computer? You get that. Want free access to premium digital resources like Mango Languages and lynda.com? You get that. Need to book a meeting space? You get that. Heck, you can even check out a telescope or use a digital printer with your library card. If you live in East Baton Rouge Parish, pick up your free library card from your local branch library today. Premium access to everything the library system has to offer is waiting for you.
The library has circulated books on tape and CDs for decades, and they've been a lifesaver for commuters, painters, knitters, and walkers. But now we have even more options. In fact, I hear from patrons all the time who depend on our downloadable audiobooks to make their drive-in for work bearable. Overdrive is our #1 ebook source, but it's not the only source for great audiobooks. Adam St. Pierre joins us now to explain in the Digital Download.
Can't get enough digital content from your library? Then you need to check out the brand new version of One Click Digital. One Click Digital brings together over 4,000 ebooks and e-audiobooks just for you. One Click Digital has improved its app experience to bring together a brand new app that integrates all of its content in just one place. So if you've got a tablet or smartphone of the Android, Apple, or Windows variety, we've got you covered. But you don't just have to use a tablet or a smartphone. You can use your PC, Mac, or basic e-reader to enjoy digital content from your library's One Click Digital collection. For e-audiobooks, just download the One Click Digital Media Manager to start listening today. And for you ebook fans, you can just keep using Adobe Digital Editions. And it's all free with just your library card. To check out One Click Digital, head over to the digital library page at ebrpl.com.
Thanks, Adam. This is a great compliment to Overdrive. And since you can check out 10 from each resource, you should never run out of things to listen to. Let's shift gears and check in with Kayla Perkins, reporting in from Beyond the Stacks.
The main library at Goodwood is home to a number of specific collections, archives, and special resources. One of those is the Career Center. Are you looking for a job? Your East Baton Rouge Parish Library is here to help. We're here at the main library at Goodwood. We're going to be talking to Ann Nowak, Program Director of the Career Center.
We offer all kinds of programs and resources. Our most obvious resource are computers we have for the public to use. They can come in and use them to complete online applications, do resumes, do other job search related, career related things. We have people come in to complete job trainings on our computers. We have 2 meeting rooms available that people can reserve for Skype interviews or other online interviews, for example. Then we offer the services that involve us, the staff, as coachings. We help with the online applications, we help with the resumes, we do mock interviews, interview prep, We will help to try you figure out what you want to do when you grow up, or if you want to change careers. We will help you to solve workplace-related conflicts, issues, so anything that has to do with job search, career, world of work-related issues.
Job hunting can be stressful. What tips does the Career Center provide or suggest for productive job search?
Productive job search, really, you need to be in a good state of mind. And what's key to that is structure. Don't just run into it and just, oh, I'm going to spend 10 hours on the internet or anything. That's the wrong approach. You really need to have a structure in place, a daily structure with, this is when I get up, this is when I eat breakfast, built-in time for exercise, built-in time for self-care, if that's singing or meditating or reading or gardening, whatever makes you feel good. And then structure it. Spend some time on the internet, but spend even more time networking.
So how do patrons get in touch with the Career Center? What are the hours of operation? Are there appointments available, one-on-one assistance available?
Absolutely. The best way to see our resources is go to our website, www.careercenterbr.com, or otherwise give us a call at 225-231-3733, and that way you can make an appointment, find out about our seminars, or however we can help you.
Discover what programs and resources are available at your local library online at www.ebrpl.com, or pick up a copy of the newsletter, The Source, for a complete listing of programs.
Thanks, Kayla. January is a great time to reassess where you are on your career path, and the staff of the library's Career Center can help. Stay right there. After the break, Virginia Archer joins me for a chat right here on the Library Roadshow.
Hi, I'm Sari Feldman, and I'm the president of the American Library Association. We need your help. In late October, the American Library Association will launch its new multi-year public awareness campaign, Libraries Transform. We need to let policymakers, stakeholders, and funders know that libraries are neither obsolete nor nice to have. Libraries are essential. We need your help to spread the message. Hang posters, send emails, post on social media. You can find out more by visiting librariestransform.org. Join me in showing the world that libraries transform.
You're watching the January edition of the Library Roadshow. Everything you need to know about your local library system. My guest today is Virginia Archer. She's the creative director and mentor for the New South Story Lab. Okay, Virginia, what is a story lab anyway?
Well, we're an arts organization. We're focusing on Southern storytelling, so we're doing everything we can to foster dialogue, conversation, and storytelling around the Southern experience. Mostly what we're doing is hosting free workshops for young people here at the library.
We love that.
Yeah, we love it here, so we tell everybody to come.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly we're doing free high school workshops, creative writing, but also it turns into sort of a multimedia experience. So when you start writing about something, then the next step is to film it or to stage it or to make art around it. So we're doing free arts, programming.
That's
in the
wonderful.
city.
So again, the creative capital of the South, we're building on what is basically a natural, one of the natural resources of Louisiana, which is storytelling, and turning that into, as you said, a multifaceted experience for our teens. How did this all come about?
Well, I think it was because I graduated from LSU in anthropology and political science.
There is a lot of storytelling there, actually, isn't there?
Folklore,
Yeah.
comparative culture, cultural studies, but I went down to New Orleans to do some nonprofit work, and one of the first nonprofits I hooked up with was an academic residential program called Boys Hope, Girls Hope in New Orleans.
It's a wonderful program.
And I fell in love with where the education meets the whole, the wraparound experience for students.
I like the way that's a good metaphor, I think, that wraparound experience.
Yeah.
So tell me about these workshops that you've actually done in the library. We've been doing them for a little while now.
We love it here, Mary. Your teen section is, I like to call it like my favorite place in the city. because it's just got a great energy and it's full of resources. It's got the best graphic novel section ever.
We're working on it.
I love it. I can't help but go play in there. But we meet once a week. We usually hold 8-week workshops in the spring and the fall. We're open to doing them at the other libraries too. We have a great mentor, Daniel Pena, who got, I think, an MFA from Cornell.
Pretty special.
And he's a Fulbright scholar, and he did his residency in Mexico City. So he can work with ESL students.
Great.
So we'd love to do it Spanish speaking.
Well, that's a
creative
growing
writing
population
workshop.
in this area.
It's
So
important, I think, to us to serve students from different backgrounds. So usually the workshops are 8 weeks long. We meet once a week after school. We don't want to be too much of a burden on the students because we want their grades to be great at school too. So we're doing that. We're writing screenplays, flash fiction, poetry. We have a show and tell portion where our mentors show what's working in fiction or poetry right now, you know, and we get to share what we're passionate about, and then we get right into the writing, because my friends who are English teachers say that even, you know, schools in town who have great writing programs, great English programs, and a lot of resources in the arts, they just don't have the time.
that's right.
To get to the creative writing.
And the only way to be a better writer is to write.
Yeah, and the students tell us that the workshops that they love the most is when they're writing the most.
That's wonderful.
We don't have to do anything.
You see, teens can do things besides just play video games. We're
true.
excited. So what's next for y'all? That we're going to roll out more workshops through libraries and other places?
So this was our first, I launched last December in 2014. Even though I was doing this work anyway in a pro bono basis. In my own life, we were official in December 2014.
With New South Story Lab as an entity.
Yeah, and brought on more mentors to help me with the programming and a board of directors to help us sort of figure out where we're going in the community. And I will say, after a year, we really love the workshop format.
Well, how do people find out more if they want to go check y'all out?
Yeah, newsouthstorylab.org.
Okay.
We have a great website, but also we're a person-to-person operation.
I know.
So we would love to have coffee with anybody who's interested. And we're going to probably be hosting another workshop in March.
Okay. After the break, a different kind of storytelling with author Charles de Gravel, plus book reviews from our youngest library patrons. That and more coming up next.
Cook foods to the right temperature using a food thermometer. 3,000 Americans will die from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
Welcome back to the January edition of the Library Roadshow. Biographer Charles de Gravel's new book, Billy Cannon, A Long, Long Run, paints a complete picture of the colorful life of LSU's only Heisman Trophy winner. Charles will present a free program at the main library on Wednesday, January 20th, but he's on the phone right now for a little chat. Charles, Billy Cannon said he didn't want to write a book about his life until he met you. What about your relationship with Cannon made him feel this way?
Billy Cannon had kept a low profile for a long time. After he got out of prison for counterfeiting, many writers tried, mostly in vain, to get an interview with him. and even those who got the interview were treated pretty roughly if they tried to venture into that sensitive area. He had made a huge mistake in his life, which he regretted, which he apologized for, and which he simply didn't want to talk about. But as time went by, he began to attend more events, especially at LSU, but also out in the larger community. And I think he began to really understand that people forgave him and that they still admired and even loved him. He knew I was a good, if not famous writer, and he also knew that as someone who had ministered to inmates, not much was going to shock me. And he also believed, rightly, that I would know a real redemption story when I saw it. We've developed a relationship of mutual trust and respect, and beyond that, friendship.
How long did it take you and Cannon to write the book?
We had our first meeting up at the prison, Billy and I, in April of 2014. I spent many hours with him over the summer of that year interviewing him. I took notes, of course. I'm a trained journalist, but I also videotaped all of our interviews. In addition, I interviewed many others, including old teachers, friends, and teammates, both at the college and pro levels. Naturally, I read everything that had been written about him. All of that was before I put a single word to paper. We both wanted to get the book out before football season, and 2016 seemed too far away. So I had to work very hard to finish a manuscript and get it to the LSU Press by the spring of 2015. With editing then, it took a little over a year, and we put it on the stands before the first LSU game in September of this year. As any writer will know, that is a Billy Cannon-like pace, but I'm really glad that I went for it and that I managed it. The timing has turned out to be wonderful. The editors and others at LSU Press have been tremendous to work with, and this book has met with very, very good response, both critically and in sales.
To what aspects of Cannon's story did you most relate?
Well, like most people, I was very interested in Billy Cannon, the football player, the football legend. He was a once-in-a-generation athlete, comparable to Bo Jackson in his versatility and in his uncanny combination of speed and strength. And obviously, that was a part of the story that many readers were going to want to know about. But for my part, I was more interested in the human side of the story. How does a man that talented, that smart, that renowned and admired make some of the really poor decisions he made? And then, how does he recover from such a fall to stand both proudly and humbly? And then, how does he go on from that point to make an important contribution to our world? And I'm talking about his prison reform work. That has drawn him absolutely no attention.
The other main character in this book seems to be the post-World War II North Baton Rouge. Was that a deliberate decision?
The part of the Cannon story that involved the end of the Depression, World War II, and the post-war boom was an amazing bonus for me. I realized that the Cannon story, as itinerant workers at the end of the Depression, as industrial laborers during the economic boom in the war years and afterwards, was a reflection of the nation's history itself. I especially loved learning and writing about Estruma, that unique blue-collar part of Baton Rouge where Billy and his brother Harvey grew up. The people of Estruma were proud, hard-working, salt-of-the-earth people who were determined to move their children up into the next social strata. And that in itself is another part of the American story.
What do you hope readers take away from Cannon's story?
I hope people will understand what I have understood for many years, working as a minister in a maximum security prison. And that is that you can come back from a terrible mistake and rebuild your life on a solid foundation, and from there go on to do something meaningful that will be of benefit to others. It is certainly not an easy journey, as Billy himself will tell you. But Billy's story has, in my opinion, been used by God as an inspiration to others who desperately need to hear that message.
Are you working on a new project?
I'm very proud and excited that LSU Press has asked me to write a history of the Angola prison. The prison is so woven into the values and history for better and for worse, of our state, that I think it's going to be a tremendous project with a wide range of readers. And like Billy Cannon's story, the history of Angola has had some very low valleys and some very high peaks, much of which is not known to the general public. Of course, I have had my own personal experiences at the prison to draw on, and I'm anxious to get started with some serious research and to interview and photograph many of the people, including inmates, security officers, and wardens who have contributed to the history of that amazing place.
Thanks, Charles. This is a great addition to our Louisiana biography collection. Ask your local librarian to direct you to this and many other good reads. We've also checked in with some local kids to find out what they're reading.
Hi, my name is Maya. This is my favorite book. I survived the Japanese tsunami 2011. And it's this kid, and he just out walking on the beach by himself when the waves kind of start crashing on, and a lot of people start running, and he ends up saving a bunch of people, and he's a real hero. Well, sometimes my mom brings me, sometimes my dad brings me. I like going to the library because they've got a huge variety of books that I can choose from. They're all free because you can just check them out with your library card and all, so.
Thanks, Maya. I love to see what our youngest readers are up to. Stay right there. You're watching the January edition of the Library Roadshow.
Look at me. Hey.
Raymond, look at Mommy.
Maybe the light hurts his eyes.
Maybe she's just not hungry. Maybe he can't hear us. Maybe we're not stimulating him enough. Maybe it's a phase.
Avoiding eye contact is one early sign of autism. Learn the others today. The sooner it's diagnosed, the better.
Hart, what's going on? I'm leaving. Why? What did I do? Not enough. The pressure's too much. I quit. I get it. I can do better. Just please, don't leave.
Don't let your heart quit on you. Get your uncontrolled high blood pressure to a healthy range before it's too late.
My name is Melissa Easton, and I'm head of the Special Collections Department at the Baton Rouge Archive, located inside the main library on Goodwood, where Baton Rouge history comes alive. The small sculpture you see here is a model for the familiar Baton Rouge landmark, a tribute to Oliver Pollock by artist Frank Hayden. Frank Hayden was born in Memphis, Tennessee in 1934. He moved to Baton Rouge in 1961 and taught art at Southern University until his untimely death in 1988. This piece was commissioned by the Baton Rouge Bicentennial Commission in the mid-1970s as part of the National Bicentennial Celebration. The large version of the sculpture is located in Galvez Plaza in downtown Baton Rouge. You may have seen it while visiting the River Center Branch Library or the Old State Capitol. Tribute to Oliver Pollock honors a patriot who is best known for using his own funds to help the American Revolution succeed against the British. He worked closely with the Spanish governor of Louisiana, Don Bernardo de Galvez, to secure Baton Rouge from the British, clearing the way for the Baton Rouge territories to eventually join the United States. Pollock also designed the dollar bill symbol. To view more from Baton Rouge artists, visit the Baton Rouge Room Archive, located inside the main library on Goodwood, where Baton Rouge history comes alive.
You're watching the January edition of the Library Roadshow, a production of your East Baton Rouge Parish Library System. Who knew there was so much interesting stuff about Baton Rouge all under one roof? I love that statue, and we have so much more to share. We like to think of ourselves as Baton Rouge's attic, so come check out the maps and photographs, trace your family tree, or just study up on Red Stick history. It's all available at the main library on Goodwood, as well as online in the digital library, and it's free with your East Baton Rouge Parish Library card.
It's January. Let's ring in the new year with a new me and a new you. Let's fulfill those resolutions. To get your pages turning this month, in honor of bright beginnings, I read a slew of books all about people. Redefining Realness, My Path to Womanhood, Identity, Love, and so much more is the continuing life story and legacy of Janet Mock. In 2011, Mock, then editor of People.com, came out as transgender in Marie Claire magazine. In her work, Mock weaves her personal history straight with no chaser. Her story is a journey of self-actualization, of understanding who she is inside and taking the steps to realize that outside of herself. It is an extraordinarily emotional tale. It's raw, it's honest, and there's plenty of darkness. But she doesn't sensationalize her life. She owns her choices and invites readers to do the same. I also read another phenomenal biography. In 1981, Grace Jones wrote and sang the lyric, "I'll never write my memoirs," on her 5th album, Night Clubbin'. Fortunately for us readers out in TV land, she's changed her mind. If you do not want to limit yourself, then be prepared to change your mind. Often, she writes. As an icon of film, fashion, and music, she's a veritable force of nature. The 67-year-old Jamaican-born legend is a powerfully independent soul for grandma who can put these young starlets to shame. Her memoir, aptly titled "I'll Never Write My Memoirs," is incredibly intimate with no shortage of salacious details. At almost 400 pages, Jones captures the rough edges of her childhood, the raw pain of watching friends die during the early stages of the AIDS epidemic, and the joys of being a grandmother. Jones discusses many of her accomplishments, including her 10 studio albums, volatile relationships with Dolph Lundgren and Duran Duran, her modeling career, and of course, her distaste for Hollywood, despite being featured in over 20 feature films. Jones and co-author, music journalist, and producer Paul Morley spin a fascinating tale of life among international models, musicians, and filmmakers. Jones's work really surprised me. I knew her delivery would be provocative. After all, she is diva-ism personified, but her voice is hauntingly poetic. As a fan, I enjoyed learning the details of her crazy past, and that's how the page turns.
There's some outstanding new biographies just ready and waiting to be checked out. I've got my eye on 2 new books about artist Judith Scott and film critic Roger Ebert. Plus, I can always download some hot magazines like Us or W from Zenio and Flipster. And now for today's contest. Visit the library's Facebook page at facebook.com/ebrpl and tell us one personal anecdote about your own life growing up or after moving to Baton Rouge. That's facebook.com/ebrpl. And while you're there, enjoy. We're not your grandfather's library anymore. What's coming up on the Library Roadshow next month? One Book, One Community takes on the Kingfish, Huey Long.
Tune in next month. I'll be touring the Bluebonnet Regional Branch.
And next month, I'll introduce you to a new resource in the digital library.
And I'll be getting ready for the Kingfish Kickoff in the Plaza.
Thanks so much for joining us on the Library Roadshow. And remember, your East Baton Rouge Parish Library is open 7 days a week plus 24/7 on the web. Check us out at ebrpl.com.
And that's how I roll.